BWOne. We're going to do a quick comparison here of the LG G3 that was just announced today and the HTC M8, which was announced a couple weeks ago. Just want to give you a quick comparison, show you features and kind of functionality that's going to be different and similar between the two of them. So we'll get started here. Just to begin with, both of the phones now have a feature so you can just kind of double tap on the screen when it wants to work to turn them on. So very similarly, you can just kind of get to the easy turn on the screen, check the time, any quick notification features, things like that. The HTC is going to have your standard sets of lock sequences. You can do the pattern recognition, things like that. Whereas LG this time is going to have a thing called knock lock. So basically, you actually can do a pattern sequence to unlock the phone. So it's actually a lot more secure than using something like the fingerprint scanners in some cases, and or the pattern recognition, whereas when you're doing a pattern, a lot of times you can kind of see on the screen like the smudges of your fingers. So this is kind of just unique to LG. It's going to be, they're saying this is probably the most secure way. I think there's something like 300,000 different combinations of knocks that you can do between 3 and 8 finger taps in that little small square area that you were seeing before. Going into the actual device and the hardware itself, as you can see, the LG is going to have a 5.5-inch quad HD screen, so it's actually going to be higher than 1080p resolution, whereas the HTC M8 is going to have a 1080p, while the HTC is going to have a 1080p 5-inch display. So still, I mean, obviously 1080p is, has been the standard for quite a long time. LG is just kind of bringing it up another step by making their screen do quad HD, so it's obviously going to be just that much better. And then again, some other features you can kind of notice. As you can see on the LG, you're not going to see any front speakers or anything like that. The speaker actually is going to be down here at the bottom. They are claiming that with that speaker there's going to be a kind of a boost in sound and a much better quality than you would get out of a normal like lower sounding speaker. Whereas the HTC is going to have their boom sound, so as you know, they're going to have that stereo sound, kind of the class leading as far as sound goes right now. So anytime you're listening to music, it kind of amplifies your music, makes it sound just that much better. Kind of going to the back there again, just kind of comparing the cameras. HTC is going to have their megapixel camera and of course their secondary depth sensing camera with a dual LED flash. So it's been great so far. I mean, the cool feature and functionality of having that sort of depth of camera is to be able to afterwards do editing, so you can kind of focus on the foreground and the background. LG on the other hand, this time around went with a different feature. They're going to go with what's called laser focus. So instead of having to kind of tap on the screen and give those couple 2 or 3 seconds that it sometimes takes for a camera to focus, this autofocus is supposed to be within a couple less than half a millisecond. So you're going to get a real quick focus, so you can just take your pictures right away without having to worry. Another thing you're going to notice here is that LG also has their patented kind of like rear system. So this is going to be your power button, and then you have your volume up and down. Whereas on the HTC, you're going to have your power rocker, your volume rocker on the side here, and then your power feature and your power button up top. Both phones do also have IR blasters, so that way you can use them as a remote control. So anytime you just, are at home on the couch watching TV and you don't want to get up and find that remote control, both these phones are going to have that same sort of functionality there. Let's see what else we got here. Front-facing camera. LG is going to have a 2.1 megapixel camera. I believe that HTC also has about a 2 megapixel front-facing camera as well. So kind of similar as far as that's going to go. HTC, the back here is going to be non-removable. So as you can see, you have your kind of slots on the side, one for a SD card, one for the micro SD or for the SIM card slot. As I kind of mentioned before, to get to these card slots, you kind of have to have some sort of pin or something to kind of take these out. Whereas with the LG, you're actually going to be able to take off the back cover, which I personally like. As you can see here, LG is going to have a 3,000 milliamp battery, whereas the HTC is going to have about a 2,400 milliamp battery. So, I mean, again, it's personal preference. I kind of like the ability to be able to take off the back cover, just for the fact that you can actually switch out the battery if it is something that you ever needed to do. You also have your SD card slots a little bit more secure, so it's kind of inside the phone. So, personal preference there. As you can see also, the back cover to the LG is going to be just kind of more of a flimsy plastic. But one thing that they did incorporate this time around, as you can see from this chipset here, is the back case itself allows for wireless charging. So if you buy the wireless docking station from LG, you can actually just do wireless charging without having to have any sort of special case or additional accessories there. And Otherwise, hardware-wise, I mean, both phones are going to have quad-core processors. They're both going to have, actually the HTC is going to have 2 gigs of RAM, LG is going to have 3 gigs of RAM. Both really fast, you know, top of the line flagship phones from both companies. We're going to hopefully spend a little bit more time with the LG G3 to kind of see more of the features and functionality that they're going to have that kind of set it apart from the HTC. And we'll give you a more in-depth review of the LG 3 later. Again, this is Kenny with BWOne, comparing the HTC M8 and the LG G3. Please remember to like our video, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, all that good stuff.